All right, everybody. So yesterday I started talking about the tape reading chart, and now going to apply it a little bit more. Before I do that, I want to show a very simple approach to reading the tape reading chart without getting into all the, all the details. You can read it in a very simple way. All right. So let's do that. So this is the tape reading chart, which you see at the bottom right here, this and that. So the idea is really simple. When you have a column, you have high volume in the low, let's say this is high volume at the high, this is high volume at the low. And then sometimes there's high volume in the middle. A lot of times there's high volume in the middle. So how do you read this? Well, if it's at the low, or before, like, in some of the boxes before, if there's high volume before the column, like right here, meaning before this big column or this big bar, right? If it's at the bottom or before it, it's evidence of accumulation. Why? Buy low. Buy low is accumulation. Typically when it's in the middle, it's breaking up above prior highs. So this is your breakout volume. And if it's at the high, it's distribution, meaning they're selling. So this is basically your buy low, which is before the column or in the column near the lows. This is breakout volume, volume to break out or absorb. And this is your sell high. Now the mistake that's made is, just because they're selling up here doesn't mean it's going to change trend. You need to have breaks. In an uptrend, you're going to buy low, break, sell high, then it pulls back a little bit, all right? And then they buy low again, break out, sell high, then it pulls back, then they buy low, same thing. Buy, accumulate. It's basically this. So you go, you've seen this. So this is, they'll accumulate here, right? And then they'll take profits here, selling high. So they'll buy low, sell high. Here, somewhere, there'll be a breakout, so you have breakout volume. Then they'll pull back a little bit, and then they'll buy low, which is reaccumulation. Then break out, then sell high, causing price to pull back, and then this will become a low. Then buy low and break out, right? And then they'll sell high. And then the thing goes. If you take that and you put it on a PNF or a tape reading chart and volume, this is how it looks. Alright, so the simple way to read it is there's the low, middle, and high. The low is at the low or right before it, in columns right before it. In the middle, you have the breakout volume that's taking out prior highs, and at the high, you have distributive action, which causes a pullback, which gets reaccumulated. So this is a simple way of reading. When there's a trend break, what happens typically is you have a column, there's heavy selling, high volume here, and then there's a break. There's a very significant down break. And they take out they significantly take out this low. Significantly take out the low. That usually is a sign of the distribution that turns trends. Right here, this is normal profit taking, you know, or sell high, buy low, sell high, but it just sets up the pullback. This here at the bottom, this can shift trend, right? So, and there's heavy volumes to the downside that break. So that's a different story, all right? So this is a very simple way of reading a tape reading chart in 5 minutes, all right? So what I have here is a very basic signal that shows buying low and marking up of prices. Buy low, markup of prices. Buy low, markup of prices. Buy low, markup of prices. You know, it's not perfect signal or anything like that because I don't want to engineer anything here, but that's the idea. Okay? So now I'm going to show you how this is highly effective. And it's not only for intraday, it's also for daily, daily charts, hourly charts. If you take them and chop them up, you'll get the tape reading chart. And then you can use it together to help buy pullbacks. The benefit of what I'm showing here is to buy pullbacks. I'm not showing breakout. I'm showing pullbacks. This is very effective in buying pullbacks. All right. So I'll give the example of this rally. Right. Let's see where. Okay. So this here, we'll take a look at the low. All right. Now I don't have all the data all the way back there, but up to here I can start. All right. So you might have heard the saying, there has to be a cause. There has to be a cause. There have to be a cause. In Wyckoff, it's a very famous saying. Basically, it's saying there has to be accumulation, or there has to be distribution, right? So the idea is there has to be accumulation or distribution. And that's really important. When you say there has to be cause, there has to be accumulation or distribution. Cause and effect is referring to accumulation leading to markup and distribution leading to markdown, which is good because there's a reason for increasing prices, allowing for a better way of buying pullbacks. All right, so we see that we had a rally here. What's the matter with my mouse? All right, we have a rally here, right? You go to a tape reading chart, you see price was marking up here. Now the question is, what was going on before it? Very important. This is the cause right here. What the hell did I do? That cause stopped the down move. It was going down, it stopped it. That's accumulation. When your price tries to go down and it can't, and there's no follow through on heavy volume, it's because there's a big buyer there. Meaning demand met supply and then took it to the upside. So price marked up because of accumulation. All right, then went a little bit sideways and marked up again. Now why is this important? Is because when price marks up and it has accumulation, price tends to pull back near it or to it, and additional buying activity occurs. So basically accumulation and accumulation and distribution, they serve as support and resistance. Right? There's price-based support resistance, which we all know are extreme highs and lows, but there's a support resistance based off of heavy volume, and that's volume-based support resistance. And the logic is so straightforward. There's a lot of buying there in the past. So when price goes to that same level, there plausibly will be a lot of buying there again. And if there is, it will become support. So it gives you an excellent area of support. And this is actually also a type of strategy. You might have heard of springs and upthrusts. Well, this is another one where it's just pull back to accumulation or pull back to distribution. Anyway, so you have a rally. You see here 61, 62. It's pulling back. Where does it stop? It stops right at the accumulation. This was reaccumulated here on 12 times 100,000, so 1.2 million contracts, and then went up, and then it went pull back at that accumulation level, and it went up. Now, with that same logic, why did price stop right here? Why did price stop right there? Where's my mouse? I can't find the mouse. What? Oh, shit. Why did price stop right here? Is because of this. Because when they accumulated, they took it high and they sold. Right? So that set up the pullback. But in this case, the selling was quite heavy. So when price comes back, it gets stuffed. The sellers make a stand, and the sellers break. So you can see that when price went up, it went to accumulation area on a pullback as support. As it pulled back to the accumulation area. As it pulled back to this area, it stopped at the distribution area. This is distribution. Price pulls back to distribution, cannot get through, breaks. In this case, price rallies, pulls back to accumulation, and attempts to make a higher high. It cannot get through the wall of sellers. So it falls back, springs this area, and then there's buying activity here, pulls back right at the accumulation area and tries one more time. I think it took out this area and tried to mark up, and the volumes got very high here. See that this brick, this box has 33, which is the highest volume on the chart. This box here, the highest volume on the chart. So it marked up to that high, I think made a slightly higher high, held a lot of volume, sold into it, and broke. It attempted to mark up, but the markup couldn't hold and broke. How you know that this is distribution is my take on it. Is because when you have accumulation or distribution, you typically, very close to it, you have a markup or markdown bar. Meaning you have a very strong bar. So you could see the bar right after is a big bar and takes out the low. Over here, you have a big green bar. And then you had that big red bar after that volume. So meaning they're selling the high. Right? This is probably one of the easiest ways to detect it. When you have high volume and then it breaks in the opposite direction with a strong bar. So that's the volume. That's the break, the red break. Now it's getting really interesting because See that price pull back here, right? But it's not a pullback, it's a rally. It's a rally. The red, yeah, it's a rally. But it seems like there's a rally down, but it's in pullback mode. And this is the volume that stopped the down move. Someone either covered or accumulated or whatever. So now it's going to do the pullback. All right. And we'll see how far it goes before it cracks. All right, so I've gone over the ES, and that's all for today. Thank you all. And yeah, you can apply this approach to different time frames, intraday, hourly, daily, whatever. All right. Have a good day. That's my mouse.